Hello dear friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today we shall be discussing the topic of National Environment Policy 2006. And in this topic, why it is relevant, it is important because it is a commitment towards India's commitment towards the clean water, clean air, clean environment. And what are the major factors of clean environment we shall be discussing in this policy. If we see in the Constitution of India itself, there are various articles. For example, the Directive Principle of State Policy 51A G, it also talks about the clean environment. And in the judicial interpretation, we will be seeing that under Article 21 of the Constitution, there are so many judicial interpretations which talk about the clean environment. We shall also be discussing what are the major causes which can cause clean environment and what are the major factors which reduce the clean environment and which hamper the clean environment. And these are as under. The National Environment Policy is intended to be a guide to action in regulatory reform, programs and projects for environment conservation, and review and enactment of legislation by agencies of central, state and local governments. The policy also seeks to stimulate partnerships of different stakeholders, that is, public agencies, local communities, academic and scientific institutions. The National Environment Policy, it also seeks to extend the coverage and fill in the gaps that still exist in the light of present knowledge and accumulated experience. It does not displace but builds on the earlier principal objectives of the policy. The main objective of the policy are as under. First, conservation of critical environmental resources. To protect and conserve critical environment resources and invaluable natural and man-made heritage which are essential for life supporting livelihoods and welfare of society. Second, intergenerational equity. To ensure judicious use of environmental resources to meet the needs and aspiration of present and future generations. Third, efficiency of environmental resources use. To ensure efficient use of environment resources in the sense of reduction in their use per unit of economic output and to minimize adverse environmental impact on society. Fourth, environmental governance in the management of resources. To apply the principle of resources, the good governance, that is transparency, accountability, reduction in cost and time and public participation is necessary for the conservation of environment resources. Fifth, enhancement of resources. In order to make the clean environment, it is necessary that the resources should be there for its enhancement. For example, appropriate technology and traditional knowledge, managerial skills and social capital will be used for the conservation and enhancement of resources. 7. Intergeneration of environmental concern for socio-economic development. There are various principles of national environment policy which are used for the environmental concerns of socio-economic. For example, principle of National Environment Policy 2006. This policy evolved from the recognition that only such development is sustainable. Sustainable development means when we conserve the environment for our future generation. These principles are as follows. For example, first, human beings are at the center of sustainable development concerns. Second, right of development must be fulfilled so as to equitably meet development and environmental need of present and future generation. Third, in order to achieve sustainable development, environment protection shall constitute an integral part of the development process and cannot be considered in isolation from it. Fourth, where there are credible threats of serious or irreversible damage to key environmental resources, lack of full scientific certainty shall not be used as a reason for postponing cost-effective measures to prevent environmental degradation. Fifth, in various public actions for environmental conservation, economic efficiency would be sought to be realized to conserve the environment protection. Strategic plan. There is a need to have a strategic plan for making the conservation of the environment. The foregoing statement of policy objectives and principle are to be realized by concentrate actions in different areas relating to key environmental challenges. A large number of such actions are currently underway and have been for several years, in some cases for many decades. In some aspects, new themes would need to be pursued to realize the principle and objectives. Action plan is needed to encourage and to formulate their own strategies or action plans consistent with the national environmental policy. Therefore, the environment or the empowerment of panchayat and urban local bodies, particularly in terms of functionaries, funds and corresponding capacities, will require greater attention for operationalizing some of the major provisions of this policy. Then there is a need for revisiting the policy. There are various laws available on the protection of environment. For example, the present legislative framework is broadly contained in the umbrella of Environment Protection Act 1986. Second, the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. Third, the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981, etc. There are several other enactments which complement the provisions of this basic enactment. There are specific action which may be taken, that is, integrated approach to the management of environment and natural resources, and there is a need of identify of emerging areas for new legislation due to better scientific understanding and development of national environment policy. Review the body of existing legislation in order to develop synergies among relevant statutes and regulations. Eliminate obsolescence and amalgamate provisions with similar objectives in line with the national environment policy. There is also a need to take steps to adopt and institutionalize techniques for environmental assessment of sector policy programs to address any potential adverse impact and enhance potential favorable impacts. Last but not the least, ensure accountability of the concerned levels of the government, that is center, state and local, in undertaking the necessary legislative changes in a defined time frame with due regard to the objective and principles of national environment policy, in particular ensuring the livelihood and well-being of the poor by ensuring improved access to necessary environmental resources. Process related reform. There is a need for the reforms in the process related reforms which are required at two levels. One, at the approach level, and second, at the level of the framework of the legal action. At the time of the approach level, there is a need to reduce delays and the levels of decision making, realize decentralization of environmental functions, and ensure greater transparency and accountability. When we talk about the framework for legal actions, there are various frameworks which are mentioned as under. First, criminal law. At present approach dealing with environmental unacceptable behavior in India, it has been largely based on criminal process and sanctions. Although criminal sections, if successful, may create a deterrent impact, in reality they are rarely fruitful for a number of reasons. Second, civil laws. We have civil laws which offer flexibility and its sanctions which can be more effectively tailored to particular situations. The evidentiary burdens of civil proceedings are less daunting than those of criminal law. It also allows for preventing policy through orders and injunctions. Civil law is sometimes better than the criminal law because in both civil and criminal, penalties would be graded according to the severity of infraction. Then there is a tortious liability. The alternatives of the civil liability may also apply in case of fault-based liability and strict liability. In fault-based liability, a party is held liable if it breaches or pre-existing legal duty. For example, environmental standard. In case of strict liability, it imposes an obligation to compensate the victim for harm resulting from actions or failures to take action which may not necessarily constitute a breach of any law or duty to care. The doctrine of public trust. As per this doctrine, the state is not absolute owner but a trustee of all natural resources, which are by nature meant for public use and enjoyment, subject to reasonable condition necessary to protect the legitimate interest of large number of people or for matters of strategic national interest. Last, polluter pays principle. The National Environment Policy promotes the internationalization of environmental cost, including through the use of incentives based policy instrument taking into account the approach that the polluter should in principle bear the cost of pollution with due regard to the public interest and without distorting the international trade and environment. Environment impact assessment is the major factor which can regulate the authorities. This process focuses on the encouraging the regulatory authorities, that is central and state, to institutionalize regional and cumulative environmental impact assessment to ensure that environmental concerns are identified and addressed at the planning stage itself. Coastal regulation zone. The policy also aims to revisit the coastal regulation zone notification to make the approach to coastal environmental regulation more holistic and thereby ensure protection to coastal ecological systems, coastal waters, and vulnerability of some coastal areas of extreme natural environment and potential sea level rise. In pursuance with the policy, CRZ notification 2011 was released in 2011. The problem of LMOs. LMOs meaning thereby living modified organisms. Living modified organisms result from modern biotechnology is broadly equivalent to genetically modified organisms. Enhancing and conserving environmental resources. The causes of degradation of environmental resources lie ultimately in a broad range of policy and institutional, including regulatory shortcomings leading to the direct causes. Land degradation. The degradation of land through soil erosion, alkali salinization, waterlogging, pollution, and reduction in organic matters content has several proximate and underlying causes. The proximate causes include loss of forest and tree cover. It also includes leading to erosion by surface, water runoff and winds, unsustainable grazing, excessive use of irrigation. In many cases, without proper drainage, it leads to the land degradation. Desert habitats. The arid and semi-arid regions of India, it is covered 127.3, that is 38.8% of India's geographical area and spreads over 10 states. The Indian desert's fauna is extremely rich in species, diversities of mammals and water migratory birds. However, the pressures of the rapidly increasing population on the natural resources base necessitate adoption of innovative and integrated measures for conservation of desert ecosystem. The policy aims at measures such as intensive water and moisture conservation through practices based on traditional and science-based knowledge and relying on traditional infrastructure. Forest and wildlife. There is need to protect forest and wildlife under this policy. Forest provide a multiplicity of environmental services. Foremost among there is a recharging of mountain aquifers such as sustain our rivers. They also conserve the soil and prevent floods and drought. They provide habitat for wildlife and ecological condition for maintenance and natural evolution of genetic diversity of flora and fauna. They are the homes of traditional forest dependent communities. They yield timber, fuel, wood and other forest produce and possess immense potential for economic benefit, in particular for local communities from sustainable ecotourism. Wildlife. There is a need for the protection of wildlife because the status of wildlife in a region is accurate index of the state of ecological resources and thus of embody incomparable values and at the same time comprise of major resources base for sustainable ecotourism. Biodiversity, traditional knowledge and natural heritage. Conservation of genetic diversity is crucial for development and improved crop varieties, resistance to particular stress new pharma products, etc. Apart from ensuring the resilience of ecosystem, traditional knowledge referring to ethnobiology knowledge possessed by local communities is the basis for their livelihood. It is also a potent means of unlocking the value of genetic diversity through reduction in search cost. Freshwater resources. India's freshwater resources comprise the single most important class of natural endowments enabling its economy and its human settlement patterns. The freshwater resources comprise the river system, groundwater, and wetlands. Each of these has a unique role and characteristics linkages to other environmental entities. Wetlands. The Ramsar Convention defines wetlands as the area of marsh, fen, peatland or water, whether natural or artificial, permanent or temporary. With water, there is a static or flowing, fresh, brackish or salt, including areas of marine water in depth of which a low tide does not exceed 6 meters, thereby giving a wide scope to the term. Wetlands are under threat from drainage and conversion for agriculture and human settlements beside pollution. The policy aims at setting up legally enforceable regulatory mechanism for identified valuable wetland to protect them from the prevention of their degradation. Pollution abatement. Pollution is the inevitable generation of waste streams from the production and consumption of anything. Pollution directly impacts the quality of the receiving medium, that is air, water, soil or electromagnetic spectrum, and when this is impaired, medium acts upon a receptor, for example a living being, and also impacts the receptor. In general, impacts on the receptors are adverse, but not always. Typically, ecosystems have some natural capacities to assimilate pollution. However, these vary considerably with the nature of pollutant and the ecosystem. In general, it is cheaper to reduce the emission of pollution than to mitigate it after generation or to treat it receiving medium or receptor. The impacts of pollution may differently impact the poor, women, children or developing regions, who may also have relatively low contribution to their generation, and according to the cost and benefit of abatement may have important implications for equity. Conservation of man-made heritage. The criteria for processes of identification of heritage sites, besides the legislation and fiscal measures to ensure that they are not damaged or converted by direct human interference. They are outside the scope of national environment policy. However, the impact of environmental quality on their conservation is an environment policy concern. Heritage sites may be impacted by pollution, or they may face threat of inundation or conservation by development projects. Several prominent heritage sites may be held to possess incomparable values. Climate change. Climate change resulting from anthropogenic emissions, that is due to greenhouse gases, that is an alarming stage. It is necessary to preserve or to enhance this climate change because it would result in large changes in ecosystem otherwise, leading to possibly catastrophic disruption of livelihood and economic activity, living conditions and human health. On the other hand, abatement of GHGs would involve significant economic cost. Environmental standard management system certification and indicators. Environment standards. It is now well understood that environment standards cannot be universal, and in each country standards should be set in their terms of their national priorities, policy objectives and resources. These standards may of course vary in their general. They become more stringent as a country develops and has a greater access to technologies and financial resources for environmental management, while within the country different states and union territories and local bodies may adopt stricter standards based on local considerations. They would require concurrence of the central government to ensure adherence to the provisions of this policy. Environment standards also need to relate to the other measures for risk mitigation in the country, so that a given societal commitment of resources for achieving overall risk reduction yields the maximum aggregation of reduction in risk. Environmental management system, eco-labeling and certification. Environment management system such as ISO 14000, by requiring the adoption of standardized environment management practices, documenting their actual use and credible third-party verification of the fact, may significantly ease and public burden of monitoring and enforcement of prescribed emission standard. On the other hand, their adoption may involve transaction cost, which for small medium enterprises may be significant in relation to their total investment. Next, clean technologies and innovation. Clean technologies, as distinct from end of pipe abatement technologies, minimize the generation of waste streams in the production process and utilize waste from other consumption goods and production processes, rather than treating the waste after generation. In general, clean technologies are less intensive in use of raw material and energy than conventional technologies, which rely on pollution abatement after generation. For this reason, they may also offer significant cost advantages to the producer. Next, environment awareness, education and information. Enhancing environment awareness is essential to harmonize patterns of individual behavior with the requirements of environment conservation. This would minimize the demand placed on the monitoring and enforcement regimes. In fact, large-scale non-compliance would simply overwhelm any feasible regulatory machinery. Awareness related to the general public as well as specific section, for example, the youth, adolescent, urban dwellers, industrial and construction workers, municipal and other public employees, etc. Awareness involves not only internationalization of environmentally responsible behavior, but also enhanced understanding of the impacts of irresponsible action, including to the public health, living condition, sanitation and livelihood prospect. Research and development. In order to rapidly advance scientific understanding of environmental issues, it is necessary to promote research and development through policy making regulation, including the field of multilateral negotiation, and to help and realize deeper and broader skills in the scientific community. Panchayats and women participation. The policy aims at working towards the legal recognition of the traditional entitlements of the forest dependent communities, taking in account consideration the provisions of PESA, that is through the Panchayati system and women participation. This would remedy a serious historical injustice, secure their livelihood, reduce possibilities of conflict with the forest department, and provide long-term incentive to their communities to conserve the forest. International cooperation. Last but not the least, in case of protection of environment, it is necessary for the cooperation of international and events. For example, India participated in major international events related to environment since 1972. The country has contributed to and ratified several key multilateral agreements on environmental issues in recognition of the transboundary nature of several environmental problems and has complied with its commitments. It has also participated in numerous regional and bilateral programs for environmental cooperation. There are few steps which can be taken for international cooperation, that is, avail of multilateral and bilateral cooperation programs, participate in mechanism and arrangement under multilateral agreements for enhancing flows of resources for sustainable developments, and to provide assistance to other developing countries, in particular for scientific and technological capacity building for environmental management, and to improve the policy in future as per the change of the society. Review of the implementation. Whenever there is a policy, there is a need that the review should be done, so that if there is any shortcoming, it can be done at the proper stage. Any policy is only good as its implementation. The Environment Policy 2006, it outlines a significant number of new and continuing initiatives for enhancing environmental conservation. These require the coordinated actions of diverse actors, for the major part organized and simulated by one or the other more public agencies. According to the Cabinet, or nominated committees of the Cabinet may be requested to review the implementation of national environmental policy once a year within 3 months from the close of the previous fiscal year. The findings of the review should be publicly disclosed, so that the stakeholders are assured of the seriousness of the government in ensuring implementation of the policy. After discussing the whole policy of National Environment Policy 2006, we have come to a conclusion that the poverty is the major cause for the environment degradation. There are various other factors. So there is a need that the central, state and the local bodies, they should work together to protect and preserve the conservation of the environment. There are various other things which has to be taken into consideration. For example, using the pollution pays principle is the most effective one, which has been seen through the judicial pronouncement. So it is necessary for going for environment impact assessment, that is at the initial stage, than to first of all degrading the environment and then to take the protective measures, because they are very costly things. So it should be done at the initial stage. And second thing, cooperation from the international level, local level, women participation, children, and the awareness is the major thing which should be taken into consideration for the protection of the environment. As India is the country which has been regularly taking in all the steps for the protection of the environment, still there is a need to protect more and to involve the stakeholders, so that the objective may be achieved in time. Thank you.